Hey everybody, this is going to be the quickest pitch because it's not even a full pitch. As you know, this year, Janine and I have been doing a lot of rewatching of different Dracula stories and everything, and you'll see those more as all the pitches come through that I've recorded, but I'm coming at you here from the bedroom because Janine and I have been watching different versions of Dracula and talking about it, and I'm going to get right to the point because what I have to say is about Dracula Untold. This film, I asked Jania, where do you think this film failed? And she's like, I'm not sure. It's been so long since I watched it. I said, okay. And then we just started, and we're a few minutes into it, and I said, you know what? I said, I got it. I think the one thing that would make this movie better, and this is my twist on it. Ready? The film opens with a man basically laying in bed, dying. It's the late 1800s, early 1900s. I have to double check my time. Maybe the early 1900s, I believe. It's late. And it's Abraham Stoker. And on his deathbed, he's lying there. In walks a man who sits down next to him and basically says, I think it's time we meet, Mr. Stoker. And he's like, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, you've made your fortune off my story. You've made me infamous. I am Count Dracula. And of course he's like, no, he's like, and the man, he's like, but you may call me Vlad. He's like, you've gone on, you've made me infamous, you've told my story, which is a mixture of true facts, imagination, and myth. But what you don't know is who I really am. For you betrayed me as the villain and have forever cast me as the villain, the personification of evil. But if only you knew the truth and what really happened. And he sits there and he looks at Stoker. Stoker looks at him, looks into his eyes. His teeth kind of descend a little. Stoker breathes in. And Vlad goes, now, allow me to tell you the story. Boom. Title card, Dracula Untold. I'm workshopping the dialogue. Don't hold it to me. The movie plays out. Then at the end of the film, we cut back. And Vlad gets up. And Stoker looks at him and says, I don't know, I'm sorry, or whatever. And he says, basically I'll see you around. And then Stoker asks, what's it like to be a vampire? And he's like, it's horrible. To be alone forever, unloved, or something. I don't know, I'll workshop it. But then he exits, and shortly later, Stoker goes to get a pen and paper, and then dies. We see Vlad walk out. It cuts to black. And then the scene that the movie ends with the modern day thing. If you want to throw that in as a post-credit scene, fine, go for it. But I feel like the framing device of having him basically telling the story, since thus the film is called Dracula Untold, the untold story of Dracula. And because the whole time you're watching this movie, you're asking yourself questions like, how does this guy become the Dracula that we know? The personification of evil, all these things that we know of. And how is this? And this contradicts this, and this doesn't make sense. But if you present it as the real Dracula telling the man who made the fictional Dracula and telling the true story, I think it helps change the way you're looking at the film and how Dracula is now this positive character. So that's it.